Welcome, I'll be reacting to Outlander, Season 6, Episode 1. It's called Echoes. Echo is my favorite Star Wars character. So, not only am I excited for Season 6, but also, yay Echo!
Is there an Echo in here?
Yes.
What?
I'm Echo.
I know he's not in it, but every time I see the word Echo, I'm like, aww. This is not a market substitute. Please support the original on Stars. Oh, like we could forget that.
You are alive. You are whole. Kill them all.
Jamie saying, "You are alive. You are whole," is so powerful. And I feel like if someone has been through a lot in any situation, that's a really good thing to just tell them, especially to hear from someone you love. Oh, back here. Looks like pre-Lord John. I can't remember what year he came.
I warned you about that sermonising bastard. Aye. Now that you're here with us, perhaps you can reason with him.
Why would he listen to me?
If we are to travel on to Culloden to face the British Army, got to keep our strength up.
Will someone shut that old fool up? Leave him alone. He's harmless.
Accept that Scotland's fate lies in the hands of a Protestant king!
Jamie, you need to step in. So I gather this is how he ended up becoming, not really the leader, but the spokesperson. Eventually, anyway. Certainly not right now.
With respect, I don't want to have to see or hear of you more than is strictly necessary.
The feeling is mutual, Governor.
Of the civility that I expect. That which is preventing Mr. Christie here from taking the first bite. The knowledge that I am your superior. I cannot have prisoners rioting.
The problem is, in modern times, a lot of people are not aware of that rule. And so the person hosting something doesn't realize that when they don't take a bite, the rest of us can't either. So I have spent so many small dinner parties sitting there very hungry, like Jamie, just kind of sitting there, waiting for the host to take a bite. And they're, just doing other things, as one does when one has a party to host. But there is something that you do need to do, and that is to take at least one bite so that everyone else can then start eating.
You are educated, Mr. Christie, a man I can reason with. I know the men respect you as a soldier. We were both on Culloden Moor that day. Do nothing to further aggravate them. How shall the men be punished for their behavior?
I believe they must be taught a lesson, Governor.
No.
Another day of hard labor tomorrow. For all but the two of you, consider it a welcome, Mr. Fraser.
Jamie is going to go out anyway with the other men.
My Rebecca gave it to me.
Probably long gone, lad.
Oh dear.
I'm forgetting her face.
She's always with you, lad.
See, he's bringing hope to the other people.
What's wrong with you? Why are you helping? You heard what the governor said. Do what I can to get us out here.
Cup send the challenge, feed on bossy Charlie, meet me and you
no.
I'll end ye there to war if you...
Okay, anytime, Jamie, before things get serious. Oh no. The kid. Rebecca was waiting. Oh, no.
He's dead. One of you had better speak up, or I'll flog the lot of you myself.
Jamie's gonna take the fall.
It's my tartan.
Not again. Now that is a real leader. Uh-oh.
No one will be working today.
Stepping up, finally.
Any man can be a mason, so long as he believes in a supreme being.
This prison will be a lodge. We will be Freemasons, united by our belief in the great architect of the universe.
Interesting choice, Jamie. 1773. Getting close. Ew. Lad? A duet. It was interesting, but I prefer last season's chorus. Ian coming in like Robin Hood.
Better than all right, actually. It worked.
What the devil are you talking about?
I don't have to rely on whiskey or laudanum anymore. I've recreated an aesthetic. It's called ether.
And it sent you to sleep.
Something deeper than...
Has asked me to be an Indian agent. To act as a representative for the crown.
New governor, same thumb.
Tell him no.
You've been like my shadow ever since. Are you going to accompany me on every home visit from now to Kingdom Come?
I would be the same way if I was Jamie. I'd be like, and you're never leaving my side again.
It's really starting to hit me.
I kind of love his beard this season. Good job, Roger.
Fergus away at the still?
Aye. Kinda seems to keep him away. I've just been...
What was that?
Clumsy of late.
No.
I'm a bit tired is all.
Marsley, what's going on?
Any friend of Mr. Fraser's is welcome.
Friend, about that.
Welcome to the Ridge.
Thank you. A man must surely build a house for God before building a home for himself.
Aye, well, we don't have a church yet, either.
How is this going to go?
With Mr. Christie being an Ardsmuir man, I assumed that, well, I welcomed him right away. To stay, that is. To settle here.
Your daughter was kind enough to offer me a bite to eat.
His face keeps twitching. That's not a good sign for how they left things.
Opening a bar?
I am distilling ether.
And I hope that you are taking care of yourself.
Yes, thank you, Brianna.
Mama, with what happened to you...
Bree, you can't live your life afraid of being who you are. And some will appreciate your inventions, some won't. If anyone makes a fuss, we'll just remind them that the Romans used to have plumbing and underfloor heating.
Underfloor heating? Oh, I'm still at the water.
Can we bring that back, please? That was just so amazingly kind to put together those little baskets, basically, of welcome, here's supplies, you're safe now, you have a home. Good place to settle.
We need no introduction to you, Mr. Fraser, having heard so much.
A pleasure, sir, to meet such an old friend of my father's.
Unload the wagon there for Mr. Fraser, Alan.
She's cute, but why is her hair down at her age? It should be up. It's a bit distractingly modern.
No, when I sent out word to all Ardsmuir men, couldn't very well say all of them but one.
Yeah.
I think you're an angel, Claire.
Oh.
We're lucky to have such educated people joining us on the Ridge. Your Mr. Fraser knows Greek and Latin too. Did he ever teach you any science?
He prefers theology.
So they will be building a church.
War is an expensive business. Governor Tryon said he'd defer payment of the tax on your land. Governor Martin owes you no such courtesy. I'll stop by again on my way back, in case you have a change of heart.
We will build them a school, build them a church, show them what pious men and women of faith can do.
My husband died a month ago on the ship over.
Oh, dear.
Wish there was something we could do.
Is he all right?
Maybe spend a bit more time at home. Eh, lad?
Aye.
Has Fergus developed a drinking problem? We saw Marsley's wrists earlier, and I hate to say this, that was a bit suspicious. I really hope that's not the direction they're going, but there's evidence that it is.
Didn't have to worry about running out of gunpowder.
I don't have to worry too much about that. I have this. I made it myself.
What was that from? Brownsville? Oh, great.
You have no proof Indians set any of those fires.
That was tense.
It is the devil's juice.
Take a little wine for thy stomach's sake. 1 Timothy 5:23.
Nice one, Jamie. So much for not wanting wine. Oh, what a spread. Pecan pie. It's almost worthy of Thanksgiving. Lizzie, what is your hair doing down? Why all the modern hairstyles in this show? I'll blame it on Brianna and her modern influence getting to the women of the Ridge.
His brother.
Don't do this to me. You're both respected in the province. One man's word against another's.
Okay, Fergus is definitely
You have been
having problems.
working hard, my love. Why don't we get some food inside that stomach of yours,
I thought you only had ice for me.
Fergus, no. Put that flask down.
Why won't you have a wee bite to eat, lad? You'll need all your strength if you want to help me build you a new home.
Yeah, he kind of needs a father figure right here that Roger's able to step in for.
I'd like to supervise work on a cabin for you. Everyone will help, of course, but since I'm not building one for my own family...
Cabin of my own? I never expected.
Brownsville? Ugh. They won't try anything while the Major is here, though, right? Unless they want to pin something in the Frasers. The powder horn was taken.
He stole a powder horn.
Thief hateth his own soul. Apologize to Mr. Brown at once.
I remind you all, this is my land. I'll see to it the lad learns his lesson.
Funny how it's gunpowder he stole, eh? You're not harboring one of those rebels, are you, Mr. Fraser?
One more.
I'll do it. If it's between me and him, I can't let him do it.
Oh my. Jamie, what have you gotten yourself into? Yeah, get him some strong coffee and take all whiskey away. No, don't make it Irish. No. Fergus.
Is your husband not sitting here in front of you at this very moment?
No, he's not.
Is he?
It's intervention time.
I will slip her throat.
Gayless.
Look like you've seen a ghost.
Listen to the footsteps that echo behind when you walk alone.
Echoes. Claire, be careful, don't get addicted. Oh, interesting ending. Rather than a big, explosive season premiere like season 5 was, this one was more foreboding. Like the storm was gathering and you could feel the tension in the air building up into something, but not quite getting there yet. Obviously the whole thing with Brownsville, still a problem. And Jamie just took a move that will make them even more upset. And then the new settlers that are hyper-religious, I guess you could say. I don't really trust them either. I mean, I think Jamie is right. They'll have his back when it really comes down to it. But as we saw towards the end of the episode, he wouldn't even stick up for his own son. It's easy to spout scripture. I've seen it. I've been to seminary. Incredibly intelligent people who can lecture for hours on theology. But the simplest things, like a kind word to someone who's in pain, totally beyond them. It's all just theory, no action behind it. And I'm worried that this group is like that. They could quote scripture at you till the end of the day, but they miss the main message. Loving your neighbor, being there for them, things like that. I'm a little worried, which I think is the point of this whole episode, is to get us all on edge. And then can we talk about Fergus? Oh my goodness, what a switch. He's clearly been struggling and he hasn't asked for help, and that's the biggest problem. He's at the stage where he's like, I don't have an issue, I'm fine, and he's not. I hope Marsley will reach out and get help because she needs that, especially with the child on the way. She can't deal with Fergus on her own. I kind of wonder if what sparked this is because Fergus accidentally writing on the back of Claire's little internal Ridge memo and then getting that published in the newspaper was what caused that horrendous event at the end of last season that Claire went through. I could see Fergus blaming himself. It was accidental, not deliberate, but I could see someone who's as sensitive as he is kind of saying, oh, it was all me. Like what she went through was my fault. And then going down this path of self-destruction. I mean, first of all, they need to get him away from the still. And then poor Marsley is going to be dealing with all these children and him, like an additional child in a way. So I really feel for her. I hope she gets Brianna to help as her friend. I'm excited about the potential schoolhouse, though, on the Ridge, because then at least the children here will be well educated, ready for the future. We're starting to get the little tax on tea references here. A quick background on that, I won't bore you too much, but I actually did go to Oxford to research this because I heard it as a rumor and I wanted to confirm it. So naturally, I went across the pond because a lot of the records are over there. You can't really trust American publications from the time period because they're very biased. According to the parliamentary records and some other notes, the cost of the war was very high. In England, there were riots to the point where Parliament was like, okay, this is a problem. We need to raise some money to help offset the cost of that war. And so they approached the colonies and said, we need this money. Being Americans, although they weren't at the time, highly independent, stubborn folk who were like, no, we're not helping you. We helped fight in the war. We are not going to help pay for it. That's on you. And with England in turmoil over the financial situation and the American colonies refusing to help in any way, that's when we started getting things that have gone down in the infamy of history. Because we fought to help you. You've got to reciprocate at least a little bit. And if you're not going to, we'll have to do something. And that's how all of this went. Spark in the powder keg. And we're now, of course, in 1773, so that's a few years after all of that happened. So this all started because America would not pay its fair share, and I mean fair share, in the 7 Years' War that they were part of. So if you were in Parliament and you were looking out your window and seeing people yelling in the streets, who do you add additional taxes to? And the representatives of the colonies, I've read the transcripts of some of what they had to say. It was worded poorly, let's put it that way. I mean, you hear about, oh yes, so-and-so went to talk to Parliament. Have you read what they said? Because it was very aggressive, let's put it that way. And if I were a member of Parliament, I would be sitting there like, I'm sorry, who do you think you are? And so the combination of all those factors led to this situation that we have here, which is the colonies getting really annoyed. That was way more information than you signed up for, I'm sorry. I just wanted to give some context to Claire complaining about how expensive tea has become. Speaking of which, it looked pretty snowy. I just double checked. It does not give us a month. It just says 1773. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's January, February, because if it's November, December, we all know what happens in December of 1773, specifically the 16th. And I feel like they're building up to that with the tea references this episode. I feel like they're going to have a whole year before the Boston Tea Party. However, I could be wrong. Maybe this is November and we're going to get it in a couple of episodes. The question is, will there be an excuse for them to go to Boston? Or are we just going to feel the effects rippling towards the ridge? I think this was a really well done opening to the season. It wasn't explosive, but it was very intriguing and really drew you in. Quick note to anyone on Patreon, because there's only basically one episode a week now, I will be reacting to some of the behind the scenes featurettes that I have seen on Stars. So look forward to that in addition to the new episode every week.